Cheers, legends. Sammy from Short and Stout Beer Reviews. We've got a little AFL beer, or AFL affiliated anyway. So, there's two beers. Well, there's actually three, but I feel like they're all the same beer. That's why I was like, I want to drink them together and see if it is the same beer or they're actually different. So, red and white, Sydney Swans. The white one there is known as the official beer of Sydney Swans. It's their 150-year celebration lager. And it's obviously in Sydney colours, white and red. It's a 4% lager. And then White Bay's core range extra pale lager is red and white and 4% as well. So I'm sort of thinking same beer. But then they have a beer for their great coach, John Longmire, which awesome can artwork, by the way, is a 4% lager as well. So I'll read what it says on the back of each can, and then I'll crack into them and see if they're actually the same beer or not. Thank you, John, for your exceptional leadership as the longest-serving coach of the Swans. With a 208-win, 3-draw, 122 loss record across 333 games, your legacy is unmatched. This lager is dedicated to you. Cheer, cheer. And then on the back of... And cheers to Craig and Trav in the chat. On the back of the Sydney Swans 150 beer, it's a red and white bay kind of day. One where we march onwards to victory with a limited edition lager in hand. Celebrating the Sydney Swans 150th year. This is your classic Aussie beer with just a little more in the flavour department. Proudly brewed on Sydney Harbour at home anywhere. Yeah, interesting. There we go. And yeah, the brewery's White Bay Brewery, so they've now got a little sponsorship deal with Sydney Swans. And then, yeah, just the core range lager. I think they actually sell this at the ground, like at the games. So it actually says about the Swans on this can as well. It's a red and white bay kind of day, one where we march onwards to victory with a crisp, clean, extra pale ale in hand. This is the official beer of the Swans, proudly brewed on Sydney Harbour at home anywhere. So, yeah, these two here are definitely going to be the same beer, I feel. It's just whether this one's the same as well. But, yeah, let's get into it. Good excuse to do 3 beers in one hit. I've just been watching my friend Juzzy from the Short Straw. He's currently on the march, the Australia March. It's a big thing today. It's all around Australia. A lot of the cities are involved. He's doing some good work. I think he's had about 400 people watching at one stage, and yeah, he's got about 200 likes, so it's pretty cool. Good exposure for his channel. He does a lot of stuff to do with homelessness, and he's a good fella. So shout out to him. So I'll start off with this one. And yeah, currently it's Sunday early afternoon here. I'm in southwest Victoria, Trav. Whereabouts are you, buddy? Cheers, Craig. Good to see you, mate. You've probably seen this beer around, being in Sydney. So yeah, White Bay are based in Balmain, or Roselle, I think, is the name of the suburb. It's on like the Balmain Peninsula, not far from like your main heart of Sydney. There, it's a pretty good area. Sort of an old fisherman's area, like a lot of history there. And yeah, they're, in my opinion, their lagers are some of the best in the country. Cool. Yeah, I had a couple this morning with some UK mates, and then yeah, I felt a bit tired, and I hadn't had anything to eat, so I was like, I'll go get some lunch and just chill for a bit. I had a little lunchtime nap because got up way too early, and then yeah, I thought I'll do some beer reviews in the afternoon. Yeah, so Southwest Victoria, mate. Cool. Good to hear. Yeah, I think there's a couple of sort of breweries around that area. Cheers, Dan. Good to see you, mate. Yep, cool. Okay, so I do have a white bay glass somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So I'm just drinking out of the Kicks one. Kicks is another Sydney brewery. They're based in Marrickville. And it's a good sized glass just for tasting beers. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if all three are the same. I'm pretty confident though the red and the white beers are going to be the same. It's just whether that Longmire one will be as well. And yeah, I was going to drink this a couple of months ago. I thought I'll drink this if Sydney make the finals. I'll drink it on whatever night they play a final game. And then yeah, they didn't end up making it. They finished 10th this year, which is quite rare for the Swans not to make the finals. So yeah, I'm sure they'll do better next season. But my team, Melbourne, were even worse. So that's what it looks like in the glass. It's not quite as in the camera there. It looks very orange. It's more of like a straw color. It's probably yeah. There you go. So it was more my hand. Yeah, I follow AFL and NRL. Do I barrack for Melbourne in the AFL, the Demons, and in the NRL, I'm a Storm fan, but as a kid, I was a Cronulla Sharks fan. Um, I mean, I still have a soft spot for Cronulla, and I'm not a person that normally changes sports teams, but I think the only reason I changed teams in the NRL is because there was never a Victorian team to start with, and I'm very like patriotic. So as soon as there was a Melbourne team, I was like, I have to barrack for them. Nah, most of them sell them, dude. I'm generally the type of person who'll just I like having merchandise from my favourite breweries. So I generally, because I sometimes I don't get to visit them, I'll put in an online order. Say I'll get like maybe 2 4 packs and then get a glass as well. I mean, there have been times with like pubs and places I might have taken glasses over the years, but these days I'm more sort of buying them to support the brewery sort of thing. So yeah. So yeah, in the glass, I'll say like probably a medium straw colour. It's actually fairly clean. It's just got a slight chill haze to it, like slightly cloudy, sort of almost like a cider. About a 1 to 2 finger head, and yeah, it looks very light in carbonation. Body, I'd say probably light to medium. Let's have a whiff. You're a cat supporter, yeah. I feel like they'll do well this year. You can never write off the Cats. They've always got a solid list. See, because I live in this part of Victoria, most people are Cat supporters. So there's like a touch of like orange and lemon and grassy. Maybe even like a slight pepper note as well. Possibly some tropical fruits, but very faint. If so, it's like a sort of a pineapple passion fruit sort of thing. I feel like it's mainly like citrus and grassy, and then yeah, the base is like biscuity, slightly grainy. Let's have a sip. Cheers, guys. I was actually meant to be a Sydney supporter. Funnily enough, my dad was a huge Swans supporter, and that was when they were South Melbourne. And yeah, I was born around that time when they changed. So then all the families, like as a young kid, I remember even having a South Melbourne beanie when I was a kid, getting around on like little cars and stuff like that. But then it must have been when I was sort of in the early years and sort of developing and stuff. I remember mum's side of the family all being Demons fans, and they're saying, no, you have to brag for the Demons. You can't brag for the Swans. They're not even based in Victoria and Melbourne and stuff. And then, yeah, I just grew up bragging for Melbourne. And for most of my life, they've been shit. And the Swans have been good. So, yeah, it's like I made the wrong decision. It's got like a touch of bitterness on the finish and like a little bit dry. Sort of starts off slightly sweet just with the biscuity malt, but yeah, it's very crushable, easy to drink on a day at the footy or sitting in a beer garden or whatever. Like you'd be able to smash a heap of them. Very easy drinking. I mean, 4%. You sort of expect it to be pretty smashable. Yeah, it's unreal when you're at the game. Just atmosphere is awesome, especially like in Melbourne at the MCG or something like that. Funny thing is, as soon as I stopped talking, then I heard a footy siren in the background. Wherever the local ground is, it must have footy finals on, and I just heard, that's good. So, what's been on for your weekend, boys? It's good that we've got a Queenslander and a New South Welshman. Did any of you hear about the Australia rallies in Melbourne, in Sydney, and Brisbane? The one in Melbourne, shitloads of people turned up. They're just sort of people are just fed up with like the cost of living, just because the government's just gone way too far with immigration, and there's just way too many people living here at the moment. And people are getting pissed off because they're getting called racist. It's got nothing to do with racism. It's just people are fed up with the government just having too many people live here, and the infrastructure can't handle it. I mean, yeah, I just look at stuff like rent. Like I live in a 2-bedroom cottage in a country town. When I first moved in, it was $250 a week. Now it's 410. Like it's gone up nearly double the price. It's fucking insane. And someone needs to do something about the supermarkets and their price gouging. So yeah, I'll crack open the white can and let's see if it's the same beer or not. I mean, there could be a subtle change with hops or something like that, but yeah. I mean, the filming of the one, from what I seen in Melbourne, people were getting angry, but it looked like it was fairly like well behaved. That's the thing, though. The media will probably portray it as people were out of hand. If it's anything against the government or the media, they always blow it up as way worse than what it was. And they'll say that only a couple of hundred people were there when it was easily in the thousands. Unfortunately, tomorrow I start work at 4 a.m. So I have to get up at like 2:45. So that's why when I have a drink on a Sunday, I normally don't stay up too late. So just pouring the white one in the can now. So yeah, the white one's known as SWANS 150 lager, and the red one was known as extra pale lager. But yeah, the fact that it said on the back of that pale lager that it's the official beer of the Swans, you'd have to think they're the same thing. It's too many, dude. Too many to say. It's a question a lot of craft beer drinkers get asked, and you can't really answer it. I've had I've had at least 11 or 12,000 different beers, so to pick out just one is impossible. I've got about a list of about probably 15 beers that I've absolutely loved and given a 5 out of 5. But yeah, the best brewery where I've had absolute bangers from would be Side Project that are based in St. Louis in America. I went to a tap takeover and they had beers from like all across their range and they were just phenomenal. Like the amount of top quality, like elite level stuff. So yeah, I was very lucky to try them because a lot of American craft beer guys can't even get their hands on them. Some of them are up to like $200 a bottle. Cheers, Yaska. Good to see you. I've seen you're on Juzzy's stream. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, the streams have been a bit. Oh, yeah, streams over the weekend have been a bit quieter. I mean, yeah, there's like 9 people it says that are watching now, but I've just felt like the chat and that there hasn't been as much interaction. But yeah, just like an algorithm thing. I think, as I said earlier, I reckon there's times where it's almost like YouTube doesn't want you to post too many times in like one day, especially if you're doing live stuff. So sometimes you got to be sort of careful. Yeah, exactly. Love it. So yeah, as far as this beer goes, I'm just trying to pick out if it's the same as the last one. It sort of tastes more like sharp, like it's got more of a cut bitterness. But that could come down to freshness as well. I think generally it tastes and smells pretty much the same. Same appearance. Yeah, like a dark straw colour, one finger head. Yeah, not much carbonation, sort of light to medium body. It does, yeah, as I said, it's sort of sharper though, like there appears to be a bit more hop character. Like this one smells a bit more juicy. So at the end of the day, it could have slightly different hops. Who knows? Do you have like a beer that you could single out, Craig, that would be your favourite? Or a couple off the top of your head? See, one series from that side project I had, Beer Barrel Time, it's called. It's very sought after, like Imperial Stout, like bourbon barrel aged. I love the cheeky grin on his face. He's got the Swans polo top on. Well, it's cool out there. The polo tops, Nike and Volkswagen, pretty cool sponsors. The new ones have probably got White Bay Brewery on there. Broom. Oh yeah. Is that as in like when you're in Broome, like the actual brewery there, or have you had them somewhere else? I haven't actually been to Broome. When I've done WA, I've been the highest I've been up is it's a big area of sand dunes about 2 hours north of Perth. That was about as far up as I went. And then as far south as probably just below Margaret River. Brookvale Black Nitro Porter oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that freshwater. Yeah, I'll have to try and suss them out. Cool. I think when you talked about Brookvale by freshwater, that's what made me think of northern Sydney. Yeah. The old typo. It's annoying when you're trying to type something and it writes something completely different. God, the weekends go quick. So annoying. And that's the worst thing. I've tried to get good sleep and yeah, I feel worse. Cheers, Adam. How's Wales going? Cheers from a tent in Wales. That's awesome. Are you well drunk or are you hungover? Actually, what time would it be there? Yeah, it'd be like middle of the night, wouldn't it? Five. Yeah, five. Nah, it's nearly 6 a.m. there. I think. Rusty Nail. That's the Penrith one, isn't it? Or somewhere in that area. Yeah. Rusty Penny. Still got no idea if it's the same beer. I've only drank sort of half of both of them, so I'll just do a little sip at one stage and then a little sip of the other one. Rusty Penny, that's it. I just remember when I went to the Blue Mountains on the train, I remember going through Penrith and seeing that Rusty Penny in the distance, just because the guy I was with was like a massive beer guy from Sydney, and I remember him pointing it out as we were going past. He goes, "Oh, Rusty Penny's over there." Yeah, cool. When you're like somewhere like there, Adam, does it just feel like you're in like England, or is it a completely different feel? See, I don't know a lot about Wales. I just know that Cardiff's sort of like a city similar to, I don't know, some of the smaller cities in like in Newcastle, those sort of types. Um, and then you got all the valleys and the little towns there. But yeah, I don't really know much about it. Yeah, yeah, and the Welsh have got real long names for stuff, don't they? When you went to the Marrickville breweries, what was your fave venue as far as vibes went? As far as just like the general feel of the place, I felt Grifter was pretty good, but their quality of beers just isn't as good as other places. Um, Kicks had a good vibe to it, like very relaxed. Um, like everyone there was really friendly. Like I love Bracket. I'm a big Bracket fan, but yeah, when I was at Bracket, it just didn't have as good of a vibe to it as what some of the other places had. Future Brewing was really good as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the dude that runs Future. I think you can tell he's not a very like outgoing dude. He's a little bit reserved, but he tries. Like, yeah, and there's just something warm about that. Like he's welcoming, and you can tell it's not in his nature to have a big conversation, but he's trying. Like, and I like that. Like, it's cool. You can even just see it in his videos and stuff that he puts on Instagram. Yeah, I know you're a long way from there because Cardiff's like down in the sort of south area. You guys are up in the north. In saying that, though, it's probably only, 3 hours away. It's such a random trip, but it'll be cool. We were talking about it on Simo's, and Craig's like, Simo and Craig are like, oh, there's no way we do that shit. I'm like, I reckon it'd be cool. It's good getting out and camping and going to spots sort of outside your comfort zone. I sort of get the impression that Simo doesn't really travel much. Sort of come every time there's something come up about having to stay in a hotel and that, it's like he makes a big deal out of it. I think he's like probably got it so good at home. Yeah, I don't normally drink low ones like this, but this is a bit of an experiment. Back to it anyway. So I'll try the Longmire lager now. The Great Coach. Yeah, this one might look a little different. I feel like this one's clearer for starters, and it also has more of a yellow tinge to it. It smells a bit different too. So yeah, possibly a different beer. This one. I would have to be higher than. Yep. Ah, cool. So yeah, as I said, a bit cleaner and clearer this one, and yeah, it's got more of a yellow tinge than the others. They were sort of a darker straw. Head's the same, carbonation and body are the same. Let's go a whiff. Definitely smells more fruity than the other two. It's like a bit brighter. Yeah, I sort of get like tropical fruits in this one. Cheers. Comes across more grainy, like a little drier. I feel like too the smell of the fruit from the hops was more prominent, but honestly on the flavour, I feel like the others have got more character than what this does. This one's got that sort of like more comes across more malty, but it's more of a grainy sort of malt. Drier. Bitterness is there, but it doesn't sort of linger. It's more, I don't know, like a sharp bitterness. So yeah, what I'm thinking is there's probably I feel like those two are the same beer. It's just one's fresher than the other. And then, yeah, I feel like this one's just probably a subtle change in maybe the malt and the hops. But yeah, interesting. I'll have to cuvee them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. At least you guys can easily go to other countries. That's what's shit about Australia. You can't just get in a car and go for a drive and go, oh yeah, I'm just going to go for a couple of hours drive and go to Scotland or it'd be so unreal in Europe, like just being able to just go to any of the countries there. I mean, obviously you got to battle certain visa things and border crosses and that, but yeah, if you've done it many times, it's probably pretty easy. Hit the old thumbs up, peeps, if you haven't already. Someone just drove past and their stereo was turned up to about 13 out of 10. The name Yolanda Be Cool, is that from Pulp Fiction? I feel like it's a Pulp Fiction reference. I could be wrong. I can't wait to get up at 2:45. It's going to be awesome. It's only like mid-arvo here, but yeah, because I have to get up so early, it's like less than 12 hours away. Damn it. Thinking about cooking up a spicy stir fry tonight. Get that chili going. And some Chinese crispy oil. It's always a winner. I'll probably go like I reckon I'm gonna go like a soy, garlic and soy or something like that. The sort of dish that'll cure a cold if you got one. Good old Aldi, clean skin. The old Sav Blanc. Normally I go the Shiraz. I was in Aldi yesterday or the day before and bought a bit of stuff and yeah, just got that cheap bottle of wine as well as some cheap beers. Yeah, it's killer. In my previous role, I used to have to do night shift every third week, and that was way easier. It's a lot easier if you're already in at work at like 10 o'clock and you work through the night, as opposed to getting up in the middle of the night and going to work. Like when I started, yeah, 4 o'clock, and work through to like 1 or 2 in the arvo, I'm absolutely pooped by the time I get home. It's like you need to have that afternoon nap or you're just fucked. Yeah, because I swapped crews, I've done 2 weeks of afternoons, so I think it's really going to hurt me tomorrow having to get up so early. I'm not used to it. Yeah, one thing that surprised me the last time I went to Sydney, Craig, is like obviously you've got the CBD there that has heaps of buildings and high rises and stuff. And same with like Parramatta, I think. There's a few sort of little pockets of areas that have the high rises, but yeah, even when I was going through Penrith, that had them. I was like, wow, and like Cronulla on the coast, and so yeah, there's all these little areas of Sydney now that are like way more developed than what they were sort of 10 years ago. Yeah, my dad's youngest brother lived in Penrith for years and used to travel into the city for work every day. And then, yeah, as they had a family and the kids grew up and that a bit, they sort of started moving into the Blue Mountains, and they were living in one of the Blue Mountains towns that got massively like burnt down. Um, they were lucky their house stayed, but most of the neighbourhoods lost their homes. Cheers, Eric. What's going on, mate? Yeah, boy. Just doing a 3 beer review. It's like a coach of an AFL team of the Sydney Swans, and it's like a 4% beer, but they've all got a different name. So I was trying to work out if it's the same beer, but just with different names. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that these two are the same beer, the red and the white one, and then the coach one's slightly different. Just a little experiment. They're all very easy to drink. Just sort of light hop character, like a biscuity malt. Oh, mate. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, Alexandria was where Brackett was originally. It's funny though, some of those suburbs were considered real rough back in the day, and now they're like upmarket and trendy. It's the same with Melbourne. There's certain suburbs now that are expensive and trendy, and back in the day they were absolute shitholes. I'm sure Brisbane's probably the same. So yeah, I've got a beer there by Working Title in Brisbane. Got it in the fridge, and it's called Spliffed Out West Coast IPA or something. So it's like a very cannabis forward West Coast. It'll have terpenes in it, but it'll also have like very dank, weedy hops in it. So yeah, I was considering maybe reviewing that like before I go to bed tonight. Um, yeah, got quite a few sort of friends in the community that are smokers, so they'll like seeing something like that. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it during the week. Yeah, I can't wait for bloody summer to come. I'm sick of the shit weather. Like yesterday, we had like 100-kilometer winds and yeah, like just cold and wet and shit. It's like real miserable. So nothing worse when you're at work and it's real nice and sunny, and as soon as you finish work, it's like shit. Can't stop hiccuping and burping. Gassy boy. How old were you, Craig, when you moved to Australia? Like, was it a recent thing or have you been here for years? Because I was going to ask if you sort of had like favourite beers from back home or a favourite brewery, like local to where you were. And as far as that goes, yeah, well, I totally understand. It killed the vibe a bit at Cronulla though, because I remember Cronulla being such a nice little coastal suburb, and when I went there, I was like, doesn't have the same vibe it used to. All these big apartment blocks and people that look like they wouldn't even appreciate the beach. They couldn't give a fuck about it. From what I heard when I was there, is there's like one or two people that pretty much own every building there. Yeah, there's like the guy I was with who's reasonably local. He reckons that most the residential and even commercial, all in Cronulla, is sort of owned by the same one or two people. Kirkstall Brewery in Leeds, yeah. Yeah, I've heard a few of the boys talk about that. The name Kirkstall sort of like sticks in my head because my hometown has a Kirkstall right like nearby. Sort of a little Irish town not far from the coast. I used to play cricket there occasionally. Their cricket ground was at a caravan park. So, like most of the games during the year, we'd get no one watching, but we'd get this one game at Killarney and, yeah, all Kirkstall as well. And, like, yeah, there'd be like people there everywhere watching just because they're on the holiday, just chilling, like having barbecues and beers and stuff. But yeah, because it's pretty much the same beer and it's just a basic lager. There's not really much you can sort of say about it. The joys of chit chat. Been here 28 years. When I was there, though, it was a Tetley bitter. Yep, cool. And I think you said you've just recently got into craft beer, didn't you? Yeah, yesterday I went to the local service station just to get some supplies, and they were advertising 5 jam donuts for $5. I'm like, oh yeah, oh, I'll give them a try. It's a cold, wet, miserable day. They'll hit the spot. It'll remind me of going to the footy because they have jam donuts at the footy. And yeah, I got them. They were that fucking good. I ended up going back there again today and getting more. Just like real sort of soft and fluffy, and had heaps of the the icing sugar sort of stuff around the outside, and then just this big hit of like strawberry jam in the middle. But yeah, you just got to be careful because it can be hot as fuck and burn the absolute shit out of you. Ugh. Have you done many of the Marrickville breweries, Craig? I can't sort of remember if we've talked about it. I'd definitely say though the three you've got to try. If you were going there and you could only do three, I'd say do Future, Kicks, and Bracket. Future's sort of in a slightly different area. It's so weird because like the first time I went to, or not the first time I went to Sydney, but the first time I did the Marrickville area and was in Sydney was just a couple of years ago. Must have been just before Future opened. And I remember where I was staying was across from this train station. And everything looked really familiar when I got off to go to Future last time. And I'm like, oh, I was just staying at that hotel. That's why it all looks the same. So the hotel must have been sort of in between St. Peter's and Newtown, because I remember walking to Newtown and it was really close. And St. Peter's is sort of the name of where Future is. I don't know if it was a St. Peter's train station or, yeah, mixtape. I remember going to there just after it opened. It was like really busy. And they just had all these random sort of beers on tap. And Yuli's I haven't been to. I went to Source the first time round. I went to Source. I went to Batch. I went to Young Henry. I went to Wayward. I went to the original Bracket. I went to Grifter. Yeah. The first time I did so many breweries in a day. Yeah, malt jam lava if you heat them up. Bloody oath. I want to go to that, even though they have shit beer. I really want to go to that Hawks, sorry, Bob Hawks place. Just because it's meant to be like really cool, like stuff to like check out, and like the Chinese restaurant sounds really awesome. Yeah, their beers are trash, but apparently the venue's pretty cool. I think it's pretty close to where Future is. But yeah, as a massive mountain culture and wildflower fan, I was pretty disappointed when I went to the village. I thought it was very lackluster. The staff, for one, just just seemed like the type of people that didn't really care. Like they're working for two great breweries, and I don't know, they just didn't seem like the type of people that really cared that they were even there. And their knowledge was pretty average, and felt like we were getting forced out of there real early. And yeah, I don't know, just had a weird vibe to it. Yeah, I remember the first time I went to Waywood, the staff there were really friendly, and like because I wanted to try a heap of the beers, the girl behind the bar was pretty much just giving me a taste of everything and going on. As long as you buy a few that you're happy with, she goes, you can try anything for, well, I won't charge you. I'm like, okay, let's go to town. It's always good if they just give you, I think it's reasonable if they give you just a little taste of like two or three beers. As long as you buy one of those three beers afterwards, I think that's pretty warranted. It just goes to show that you don't really know what you want. You want to try a couple first, and then if they give you a taste, you do the right thing and buy a full pour of the one that you like the most. Otherwise, people would just go there and just get them to pour everything for them and go, oh, no, I don't really like any of them. It'd be pretty rude. I remember as a kid, when I say kid, like an 18, 19-year-old, me and my mate used to go to the city and we'd look up where like, you know how you have like your liquor lands and your different like bottle shops. We'd look up where the tastings were. And even if it was out in the suburbs, we'd get on a train or a tram and go to the store where the tastings were. And we'd just try and get as smashed as possible without spending any money. So you'd go to about three or four tastings. And like when you're that age, it doesn't take much to get pissed. Yeah, we'd end up like getting pretty smashed and like probably only buying like one beer or one wine or something. It's amazing the stuff you can do when you're desperate. I feel like if I was homeless, it would be easy to get food and like beverage, but the hardest thing would be trying to find somewhere that's not cold. Just as someone that's like experienced a fair bit and travelled and all that. It's like it'd make it easier to sort of seek certain things. But yeah, the uncomfortability and the coldness would be absolute hell. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've seen a lot of their can artwork. It's pretty cool. Where are they based? I remember when I went to, I think I'd been to Brackett and then we were going somewhere else, sort of towards the city or somewhere. I remember going past another brewery, but I hadn't been there before. Um, it was in an area by itself, though. Just can't remember the name of it. It's like a Sydney craft brewery that people know about, but I hadn't reeled the name off yet. There's an actual brewery called Sydney Brewery, isn't there? Oh, God. I'm already yawning. It's not even Monday morning yet. Yeah, when I went to Brackett there, when it was in that original location, there was another brewery somewhere sort of in a nearby suburb. Um, Another brewery I went to in that Marrickville area was that Willie the Boatman. And when I was there, Albanese was there. And that was just before he became Prime Minister. Because I remember my mate that I was with was there taking a cheeky selfie saying this guy will be next Prime Minister. There's probably a couple more I've missed. So many. Filter. Filter was another one. I remember the pizza at Filter and the staff there being real cool. Yeah. I just can't remember the name of that other brewery. Yep. Oh, that's it. Frenchies. Where's Frenchies based, Craig? Is Frenchies in that same sort of area? So I remember going to Brackett and then we were driving somewhere else and the mate that I was with goes, "Oh, Frenchies is just down there. Do you want to go there?" But we're in a hurry to get somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah. When I was there, I had the elbow. It's got like a picture of him when he's younger. He's like a part owner or something. The way he dresses these days, you'd think he'd have a Chinese bank account. Oh, he probably does. Dan Andrews was the same. As soon as he started hanging out with those fuckwits, he started changing the way he dressed. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a cuvee. All three beers together. The ultimate Sydney Swan beer. It'll probably just taste exactly the same. Not much left of each one. Cuvee! I should sing the Sydney Swan song. Cheer, cheer the red and the whites. Cheers, guys. What do you know? It tastes the same. Wow. Yeah, fucking oath. See, it's like people are still living in the bloody past when it comes to pollies, like, oh, Labor this, Liberal that. They're all the fucking same, let's be honest. Doesn't matter who's ruling the country, someone's ruling them, so most of their decisions mean fuck all. They're all puppets. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I'll do another beer review now or I'll hold off for a while, but interesting little experiment, this one. And it's made room for 3 more beers in the fridge. But yeah, I'd highly recommend White Bay to anyone that likes classic sort of German or Czech lagers. Because yeah, they're really good with their lagers. The venues, I don't know. When I went to the venue, it was a very large industrial feel. It's almost like it's very family oriented. It had like a big sort of area for the kids and just very big open space, almost like it was a little dark and cold. But yeah, great brewery, good people. It was unreal when Jess and what's the guy's name? Dennis. When Dennis and Jess worked for them as their brewers, that's when they were really at the top of their game. But yeah, I think they went traveling together, and I think they've been doing a bit of brewing in Europe and different countries, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, like if I was to score those beers out of 5, it'd be like a probably just like a 3.75 or a 3.8 or something like that. They're just like solid core range, like Pilsner or Lager. Take your pick. I think it's probably more German leaning, that one. It's sort of hard to tell. It's not very hoppy. They're fairly subtle, so yeah, I might wrap it up there, peeps. You could possibly see me soon or in another couple of hours. I'm not too sure, but thanks for chiming in. If you haven't hit the like button, feel free to do so. And yeah, as far as AFL goes, who knows who I'm going for? I sort of want to see a new team go all right. Like it'd be unreal to see like the Suns or the Giants or someone do decent, but Yeah, as long as Collingwood don't win it, I'm probably pretty happy. So, cheers, peeps, and see you on the next one.